the Patriots do have their offensive coordinator, and big surprise, it's Josh McDaniels. The narrative around New England today is not the most positive one. I think there are a lot of people who have been, I want to say, hardened by the Patriots mystique, the Patriot way. It's gone now. You need to rebuild that. That's why you brought Mike Vrabel into the building. And so a lot of people aren't falling for this anymore. A lot of people aren't saying, well, because Josh McDaniels was part of the old Belichick regime, it's going to be all better. And then there are some that are excited about this hire. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm in that field. I like this hire. When you look at all the guys that were either in and around the list or actually in for interviews and you weighed the pros and cons, I think Josh McDaniels still comes out as the best. I was thinking, hey, maybe since this is going past the national championship game, they're going to give Chip Kelly a look here. This goes back to kind of the Belichick regime, but that coaching staff loved having Chip Kelly in. When he was at Oregon, he would come into Patriots training camp and give them some pointers. They did joint practices when Chip started coaching the Eagles. And obviously, it didn't work out for him as an NFL head coach, but there's no doubt of what he can do as an offensive coordinator. He did it at the college level, a couple different places. Ohio State just wins the national championship. Mike Vrabel's an Ohio State guy, has played and coached there. So I was thinking by yesterday morning, hey, maybe this is coming around or being delayed because they want to talk to Chip Kelly. And then lo and behold, yesterday afternoon, Josh McDaniels is named the head coach. And again, the sentiment I have found to be interesting and mostly stupid, to be totally honest with you guys. Because look, I get it. I don't want this franchise to move backwards. And I thought they were kind of doing that last year. I thought last January, if you're gonna fire Bill Belichick, if you're going to can the greatest coach in the history of the sport, the guy who made this franchise what it is, if you're just gonna do away with him, then let's cut the cord. Let's get something entirely different. If this way is not going to work anymore, then let's go outside. Let's get someone else from a different organization with a different philosophy that's a little bit more 2020s NFL. Instead, you promoted a guy who had only ever played for and coached under Bill Belichick. And you have to then arrange marriages around the league to try and get some coordinators in here. You got a guy who had not been an OC before that no one had ever heard of, and Alex Van Pelt. And the reports coming out today are that they paid him about $3 million a year for that. For a team that couldn't score 4 touchdowns in a game. That's what you paid for in your offensive coordinator. And yet people are out here today bitching about Josh McDaniels being the OC. And this sentiment, which I hadn't really heard until this morning from sports talk radio hosts in this town, is just baffling to me. Because here's what they're talking about on the morning show on Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 about this Josh McDaniels hire.
Not to be a myopic prick about it, but let me ask, what has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady?
I don't know. What has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady? He was terrible in Denver. He was terrible in Vegas as a head coach.
20-33.
As an offensive coordinator, he is good at what he does.
With Tom Brady as the quarterback.
You put him with a quarterback like this, it will be far better for the quarterback than, say, the guy Udinsky, or however you pronounce his name, the 28-year-old guy who's like the next big thing. The reason Udinsky would come here would be to work with Maye, have him succeed, and then leave in 2 years.
Okay, that's
Josh McDaniels isn't going anywhere.
I hate that argument.
This right here is where contrarianism becomes a mental illness. This is so far missing the point. This is the most missing the point I've ever seen in sports talk radio, which is really saying something. What has Josh McDaniels done without Brady? Oh, well, look at his record as a head coach. Great news, Patriots fans. You're not hiring him to be the head coach. who gives a shit what his record was in Denver or in Vegas? Because after he crashed out in Denver, he won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots as the offensive coordinator. So maybe I'm being naive here, but I personally could not give less of a shit what your new offensive coordinator did as a head coach. Because these are the same guys saying, why do you go and tap back into the Belichick well? Why don't you go for Chip Kelly? Noted, terrific NFL head coach Chip Kelly. These fucking morons. Or how about Ben Johnson? Yeah, with a 0-0 record as a head coach, who's going to come here and be your OC. All right, let's take Udinski instead. Who the F is that? But because Josh McDaniels failed as a head coach twice, even though he was super successful as an offensive coordinator with your franchise, that's not good enough. So then we get back to the argument here. Well, what has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady? I don't know. How about we look back to 2021 when he made Mac Jones a Pro Bowler? Mac Jones, who looks like he shouldn't even be in the league anymore, was a Pro Bowler, threw for almost 4,000 yards. And you want to look at how they improved the defense from 2024 to what it could be in 2025? In that 2021 season, that team scored more than 25 points, which was the high water mark in a game for the Patriots this year. That 2021 team took the Patriots' high water mark for points in a game at 25 and exceeded it or equaled it 9 times. Josh McDaniels' offenses are so much better than what you put out in 2024. Oh, yeah, and they made the playoffs that year too. With Mac Jones at quarterback. Mac Jones looks like he shouldn't even be in the league anymore. And Josh McDaniels took him to heights that this year's offense could only dream of. And you're giving him a much better quarterback, and you're saying, well, what has he done without Tom Brady? Like, what are we talking about, man? They made the playoffs without Tom Brady. That 4-game stretch where Brady was suspended, when everyone thought the Patriots were going to go 0-4, they went 3-1. And they won 7 games with that awful Cam Newton arm. Like, why are we just completely blocking that out from our memories? How fucking dumb do you have to be? It's not dumb. You just want to be different. You just want to be a contrarian. And there's so much shit that the Patriots are giving you the last couple years that you can bash the organization. This isn't it. This is not it. You bash them for how quickly they hire a head coach, and then when they actually prolong an OC search, you don't like the guy they pick. Like, it's always something, man. Like, I know that's what sports talk radio is. You got to do a show. Trust me. I know I'm not at 98.5, but I do a show every day. But you don't always have to be like, this is such a dumb decision and just use these empty points. All right, who would you rather have than Josh McDaniels? Udinski? Josh McCown? How about any other guy who hasn't called their own friggin' plays before? I don't mind interviewing McCown. I think McCown's a good candidate. But you're talking about a guy who has won Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator, who has taken multiple quarterbacks to the Pro Bowl, who has taken other New England Patriots quarterbacks to the playoffs, and calls his own plays. Like, what that any other organization will be like, hell yeah, that's the offensive coordinator we want. 31 other organizations in the NFL are happy with this move, except for the one that he's had the only success in his career at. I don't get it. I don't friggin' get it. Like, this is a good hire. I really think this is a good hire for the Patriots. Different from the defensive coordinator hire, which I'm going to talk about in next segment. I don't think that's a good hire. Spoiler alert. But to be complaining about a guy who has won 3 Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator for your franchise and you're hiring him to the same job, I just don't get it. And of course he won those Super Bowls. He had Tom Brady. Find me another coordinator in the league who wins a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. Find me just one, please. Just one. Find me one in the last 20 years who hasn't had an elite quarterback and won the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco? Not an elite quarterback, one of the best runs in the history of the sport. Eli Manning? Maybe I'll give you that one. But you have to have that to win the Super Bowl. Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, Mahomes, Rodgers. That's the laundry list of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. So miss me with that shit. That's such an awful argument. Awful. And oh, by the way, lest we forget, let's dive into what he did with Tom Brady, because they worked about 3 different offenses with Tom Brady. And in his last Super Bowl, he more or less took the ball out of Brady's hands for 3/4 of the game, and they won the Super Bowl. What more do you want the guy to do? Tom, we really need to run you out of town. We need to see if Josh can win a Super Bowl without you. Fucking morons. Just absolute morons. And I don't know who this bobblehead is with Hardy. Just be like, yeah, what has he done without Brady? Whether he was bad in Denver. Wow. Elite take. And Toucher's too busy just fucking stuffing his fat face to even come in at the end and be like, oh, I hate that argument. Like Rob Reiner in South Park. Oh, I hate that argument. That he'll stick around. Like, that's actually a good thing. You hire one of these up-and-comers. You hire Josh McCown. He's head coach in 2 years. I think that's important that you can get, hey, out of these 5 guys that we're looking at for offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels has the best resume, and he's going to stick around. Oh, I hate that argument. That sucks. Fucking, it's no different from the meme of, like, guy pointing to the greatest thing ever. Oh, this shit actually sucks. That's what they're doing here. And they, again, when the Patriots offense is good this year, you know what they'll say? Well, what has he done without Drake Maye? He's had two good quarterbacks in his career, and that's it. Like, I watch Mahomes and this Chiefs run, and look, Mahomes is one of the great quarterbacks of all time. And I've said it about this Chiefs run recently. Like, this is what the early dynasty Patriots were like. You know, they were a team that hung on with defense a lot. They didn't pull away in a lot of those big games, but when the game was on the line, you wanted the ball in Brady's hands, a young Tom Brady. It's the same thing with Mahomes. And then Brady became unequivocally the best passer in the sport. And you know who did that for him? It was Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels did that. He elevated a guy who's making a claim for the best quarterback in the game and made him the best quarterback in the history of the game. But that's not good enough. That's apparently not good enough to be Drake Maye's offensive coordinator in 2025. Then instead, you know, they want someone who was another failed head coach in the NFL and Chip Kelly, and they won't use the same argument. They want, I don't even know who they want. They didn't give any examples of who they want. But the guy who's won 3 Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator of that organization is not good enough to come in here and coach the offense of a 4-13 team. What are we doing here? Who is more delusional? The ones that think if we get some sort of the Belichick tree in here, it's going to be all good? The people that you shit on? Or is it more delusional to think that Josh McDaniels is not good enough to be the OC of a team that went 4-13 and didn't score more than 25 points in a game this year? Who's the crazy one here? Good Lord, give me a break. This is damn near the best hire you could have gotten at offensive coordinator. Belichick shit aside. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, please. Let me know how stupid I am or how stupid these guys are at 98.5. I mean, not that they need a reminder. They're just, the show will go on. Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.